Greetings, loyal lore seekers. Welcome back to the Lore Lord. Today we're not just comparing two figures, we're digging into the very essence of ambition, conquest, and tragedy. We're going to explore the compelling and often chilling parallels between the emperor of mankind and one of history's most celebrated conquerors, Alexander the Great. The echoes of Alexander in the Emperor. The most striking similarity is the sheer scale of their feats of conquest. Alexander's ambition was not just to rule a kingdom, but to forge a new world. His military career was a series of impossible triumphs. At the Battle of Gaugamela, he led a vastly outnumbered force against the Persian Empire, and, through a stroke of tactical genius, routed their army and shattered their empire. His empire spanned from Greece to India, and his ambition knew no bounds. Now consider the emperor. He didn't just conquer a planet, he conquered a galaxy. His unification wars on Terra were a brutal and lightning-fast campaign to end the age of strife. He then unleashed the Great Crusade, a conflict that dwarfed any in human history. With his Primarchs and the legions of the Adeptus Astartes, he brought countless worlds into compliance, facing down Xenos empires and rogue human civilizations that had endured for millennia. The scale of his conquest, a feat of galactic unification, is a mirror to Alexander's terrestrial one, but on a magnitude that our minds can barely comprehend. This grand vision was fueled by their unparalleled military genius and strategic prowess. Alexander was not just a warrior, he was a master strategist. His use of combined arms, flanking maneuvers, and psychological warfare were centuries ahead of their time. The Siege of Tyre, where he built a causeway to a seemingly impregnable island city, is a testament to his engineering and military mind. The emperor's strategic brilliance is equally legendary. During the Unification Wars, he took on technologically advanced enemies and forces armed with devastating forbidden weapons, and he won through a combination of tactical genius and sheer, overwhelming power. He crafted the Primarchs as his ultimate generals, each a master of a different form of warfare, creating a flexible and adaptable army that could face any threat. His ability to foresee enemy movements and counter them with flawless strategy is a feat that echoes Alexander's own tactical brilliance. Furthermore, both leaders possessed an incredible ability to inspire fanatical loyalty and create a unifying culture. Alexander's dream was to spread Hellenistic culture, creating a common language and set of values across his vast empire. He encouraged his soldiers to marry local women and established new cities named after himself, seeding his culture wherever he went. The result was a world where Greek art, philosophy, and science flourished for centuries. The emperor's project was similar, but far more absolute. He wasn't just spreading a culture, he was enforcing a doctrine of truth and reason, destroying all forms of superstition and religious belief. He provided humanity with a shared language, the Imperial Gothic, and a common purpose, the Great Crusade. He sought to create a single, unified human identity that would transcend all previous divisions. Both men understood that to build a lasting empire, you needed more than just conquest. You needed to unite people under a common identity, even if it was one they were forced to adopt. Finally, the most tragic and telling parallel is the destiny of their legacies. Alexander's empire, built on his personal genius and force of will, collapsed shortly after his death. His generals, the Diadochi, tore his empire apart in a series of bloody civil wars. The unity he had so brutally enforced was gone, replaced by warring kingdoms. For the emperor, his legacy also fell into ruin. The Horus heresy was the emperor's Diadochi war, but on a cosmic scale. His most trusted son, Horus, turned against him, plunging the galaxy into a civil war that shattered the legions and destroyed the dream of a unified Imperium. Like Alexander's generals, the Primarchs turned on each other, and the grand vision was lost. The Emperor, left entombed on the golden throne, is a constant reminder of how his empire, built on a foundation of ruthless pragmatism and a denial of human nature, ultimately failed. He became the very thing he fought against, a god worshipped by a superstitious and decaying empire, trapped in a state of eternal suffering that ironically keeps his failing empire alive. Both men achieved incredible feats of conquest and unification, but both ultimately left behind a legacy of chaos and internal conflict, proving that even the most ambitious and brilliant minds cannot control the destinies of their empires forever. The whispers of past incarnations, the Emperor's alleged historical lives. Now, we've talked about how the Emperor mirrors Alexander, but what if he was more than just a parallel? What if he was a part of our history all along? The most persistent fan theory, whispered throughout the lore, is that the Emperor is an immortal being, an amalgamation of the souls of ancient human shamans who have subtly guided humanity for millennia. This means he could have been, or at least influenced, some of the greatest figures in our history. Zoroaster, the Persian prophet and founder of Zoroastrianism. This is a powerful comparison because Zoroastrianism is based on a dualistic struggle between a good deity, Ahura Mazda, and an evil one, Angra Mainyu. This directly reflects the Emperor's eternal struggle against the ruinous powers of chaos, painting his war as an ancient conflict that has been raging since the dawn of humanity. Gilgamesh, the legendary king of Uruk. Gilgamesh sought immortality and was known for his immense strength and ambition. This could represent the Emperor's earliest, more barbaric stage, a powerful warlord figure whose quest for immortality was a step toward his true purpose. Julius Caesar, the Roman general and statesman. Caesar's ruthless efficiency, political cunning, and military prowess are all hallmarks of the Emperor's methods during the Great Crusade. The Edict of Compliance is essentially a galactic version of Veni, Vidi, Vici, and the way Caesar's personal authority subverted the Roman Republic mirrors the Emperor's own control over the Imperium. Merlin, the legendary wizard. This comparison highlights the Emperor's role as a powerful psychic and a wise, if secretive, advisor to humanity. It suggests that he worked from the shadows, manipulating events and guiding humanity's development without revealing his true nature. The Fisher King, a figure from Arthurian legend whose land suffers when he is wounded. The Emperor's current state on the golden throne, a living corpse whose suffering keeps the Imperium alive, is a direct parallel to this myth. He is a wounded king, and his broken empire is a reflection of his own physical and spiritual state. These historical comparisons add a rich layer of depth to the Emperor's character. They suggest a being who has not only lived through our history, but has also shaped it, learning and evolving over millennia to become the God-Emperor of humanity. As we discussed, the prevailing fan theory suggests the Emperor is the culmination of countless powerful human psykers who merged their souls. This opens up the possibility that he could have manifested in numerous forms throughout history, guiding or influencing humanity during critical junctures. Among these theories, the idea that one of these manifestations was Jesus Christ is perhaps the most provocative and divisive within the Warhammer 40k fanbase. The arguments for this theory, though often met with strong skepticism, typically revolve around a few key points. The Messianic figure. Both Jesus Christ and the Emperor of mankind are presented as messianic figures who came to offer salvation to humanity. Jesus offered spiritual salvation and a path to the kingdom of heaven, while the Emperor offered salvation from the perils of old night and a path to a glorious, rational future under the Imperium. Miraculous powers. Both figures are associated with miraculous powers and abilities that defy natural laws. Jesus is credited with numerous miracles, including healing the sick, raising the dead, and walking on water. The Emperor's psychic abilities are on a scale that dwarfs even the most powerful psykers in the galaxy, allowing him to perform feats that would seem like divine intervention to mortal eyes. Sacrifice for humanity. Both figures are seen as having made a profound sacrifice for the sake of humanity. Jesus' crucifixion is seen by Christians as the ultimate sacrifice for the sins of mankind. The Emperor's current state on the golden throne, a barely living entity constantly expending his psychic might to protect humanity from the forces of chaos, can also be interpreted as a perpetual sacrifice. Rejection and betrayal. Both figures faced rejection and betrayal from those closest to them. Jesus was betrayed by Judas, one of his own disciples. The Emperor was betrayed by his most beloved son, Horus, leading to the devastating civil war that nearly destroyed the Imperium. Influence on human history. Regardless of one's religious beliefs, Jesus Christ is undeniably one of the most influential figures in human history, shaping the moral and spiritual landscape of billions. The theory suggests that this influence could have been a deliberate act by the nascent emperor, guiding humanity towards a certain level of spiritual or moral development before revealing his true nature during the Age of Terror. However, it is crucial to acknowledge the significant counter-arguments and reasons for skepticism surrounding this theory. Contradictory teachings. The core teachings of Christianity, emphasizing faith, humility, and spiritual devotion to a higher power, stand in stark contrast to the Emperor's atheistic and rationalistic doctrine, which demands absolute obedience to the Imperium and rejects all forms of worship. The nature of the Emperor. The Emperor, as depicted in the lore, is a being of immense power and often ruthless pragmatism. His actions during the Great Crusade and his creation of the genetically engineered Space Marines are not always in line with the traditional image of Jesus Christ. The intentional ambiguity of the lore. Games Workshop, the creators of Warhammer 40,000K, deliberately keeps the Emperor's past shrouded in mystery. While these theories are fun to explore, there has never been any official confirmation of the Emperor's past identities, and it is likely that this ambiguity is intentional, allowing fans to interpret his origins in various ways. Despite the controversy, the Emperor as Jesus theory persists within the fanbase, highlighting the messianic undertones of his character and the profound impact he has had on the galaxy. Whether or not there is any truth to this rumor remains one of the great mysteries of the Warhammer 40K universe, a testament to the enduring power and enigma of the God Emperor of mankind. So, lore seekers, what are your thoughts on this particular theory? Is there any credence to the idea that the Emperor once walked among us as Jesus Christ? Or is this simply a case of finding parallels where none truly exist? Let us know your opinions in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to The Lore Lord for more dives into the fascinating mysteries of the Warhammer 40,000 universe.